A man who was convicted in 2007 of murdering his 3-year-old foster child will be up for parole in July, according to the Clermont County prosecutor, Mark J. Tecoulive. Marcus Feasel, a child living with autism, was being fostered by David and Liz Carroll. The Carrolls wrapped Feasel in a blanket, put tape around him, and then left the boy in a closet where it reached over 100 degrees, Tecoulive said. They then left to attend a family reunion in Kentucky, and once they returned home 30 hours later, Marcus was dead. Instead of calling police, the prosecutor says David and Liz Carroll covered Marcus's body with clothes and put him in a large box. David and his live-in girlfriend, Amy Baker, drove to an abandoned chimney in Brown County, where David then lit the box on fire, Tecoulive said. The prosecutor says David then collected Marcus's remains and threw them in the Ohio River. Tecoulive says the Carrolls then faked the boy's disappearance. Thousands of people showed up at Juliffe Park in Anderson Township in August 2006 to search for Marcus. David Carroll pleaded guilty to murder and gross abuse of a corpse and was sentenced to 16 years to life in prison. Liz Carroll admitted they left Marcus in the closet. Tecoulive says Liz was convicted on all charges and sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after more than 50 years. Amy Baker confessed to her involvement in the case but was not charged because she provided the information leading to the Carrolls' convictions, according to the prosecutor's office. The agency that placed Marcus in the Carrolls' care, Lifeway for Youth, was investigated and had its license revoked by the state in 2007. The foster care agency appealed the state's decision but ultimately lost that appeal. The sheriff's department has said that they will not give up the search for Marcus Feasel until the case is solved. But 10 days after his foster mother Liz Carroll said he went missing from a Hamilton County park, the hope that Marcus is alive continues to dwindle. "I have great concern as to whether or not that young boy is still alive," said Hamilton County Sheriff Simon Lease. "I hope he is, but like anybody with any common sense, we haven't found him." Not only has an extremely thorough search turned up nothing, but Carroll remains the only person who can place the 3-year-old at the park on Tuesday. Lease reiterated the message that Carroll gave at a press conference earlier this week. "If anybody has seen that young boy at any time with the parents, please call the sheriff's department." Feasel was placed with the Carrolls through Lifeway Services, a private foster network hired by Butler County Children's Services to place children in homes. A caseworker from the county is still scheduled to visit Marcus once a week. Jan Hefner of the Butler County Children's Services explained to Fox 19 News the reason for the weekly visit. "Marcus had a pretty hefty treatment plan, and we wanted to make sure he was adjusting to the home." At the press conference this week, Carroll told reporters that Marcus's caseworker was the last non-family member to see him before he disappeared. But now the caseworker said that she was told Marcus was sick and she didn't visit. Sheriff Lace told Fox 19 News that the caseworker missing a visit is not raising red flags. "If it were a case where every other time Marcus's foster party said no, he's ill, that would have raised a red flag," explained the sheriff. "There were 25 other times in 14 weeks that a caseworker saw Marcus and all was well, so there was no reason for concern on August 10th. The concern came August 15th when Marcus went missing." Fox 19. News also learned today that Carroll's daycare license has been revoked by the county because, according to the county, there were other individuals living in the house, and the county was not made aware of those residents. A $10,000 reward continues to be offered for any information leading authorities to Marcus. If you have information, call Crime Stoppers at 352-3040 or call the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department. David and Liz Carroll are accused of killing their 3-year-old foster child, Marcus Feasel. For the first time, we are hearing from accused foster father David Carroll in his own words. It's an audio tape released today by Hamilton County prosecutors from August 15th, which is the day prosecutors say David and his wife Liz made up the disappearance of their foster son, 3-year-old Marcus Feasel. David Carroll remains in the Hamilton County Jail while his attorneys fight to keep his statements out of trial. The statements they're trying to keep out are the ones he made to police while thousands of volunteers frantically searched for Marcus, who police say he actually killed. A seemingly calm and collected David Carroll sat down with Sheriff's Department Detective Randy Forey around 4:30 on August 15th at Juliffe Park. For more than 15 minutes, Carol walks the detective through his day. Wife dropped me off at the YMCA, I would say around about 11:35. From there, Carol says he wasn't sure where his wife Liz was headed with their other children, but thought they'd go to a park. On the tape, David says the next phone call he got was from a sheriff's deputy calling from his wife's cell phone. He said that my wife had collapsed and that I need to come pick up my children from the clubhouse over here. Carol then told the detective as soon as he got to the park, he noticed Marcus was missing, but prosecutors say he knew at that point that Marcus had not disappeared. They say David and Liz left Marcus bound in a closet for more than 2 days, then took his remains and burned them in Brown County. Any ideas what happened to Marcus? The detective asked. Carol replied, I have no idea what happened to Marcus. I'd imagine, I would hope and pray. Yeah, Marcus is just scared and maybe hiding in a bush, but obviously they've searched the whole perimeter. The detective also asked Carol if he had spoken with his wife about what happened in the park. Honestly, we didn't talk about that. All she was really crying about and saying is, I tried to get her calmed down. Please just find Marcus. Just find Marcus. I just want Marcus back. At the end of the interview, David lists the 5 different medications he and Liz are on, which for David included one to treat bipolar disorder. He says Liz was also taking meds to treat anxiety and depression. David will be back in court on Monday when Judge Patrick Dinkelacker will determine if the statements can be thrown out and whether his trial for inducing panic will be moved to another location. He still faces charges of murder in Clermont County as a result of Marcus's death. Looking much different than the 7 days that she was on trial, Liz Carroll walked into a Clermont County courtroom wearing an orange prison jumpsuit and bound in shackles. Judge Robert Ringland sentenced the 30-year-old to 54 years in prison. Carol was found guilty by a jury on all 7 counts that she was facing, which included murder, involuntary manslaughter, and kidnapping. Judge Robert Ringland made a statement that scolded the Cincinnati Enquirer for publishing the names and address of the 12 jurors that sat in on the trial. In an emotional closing day, Clermont County Assistant Prosecutor Daniel Breyer made the statement that a person wouldn't treat a dog the way that the Carrolls treated the 3-year-old foster child. Carol shot back at Breyer, "The dog was alive." The comment alluding to Carol's claim that Marcus had already died before the family went to Kentucky for a family reunion, while Marcus Feasel was bound in a blanket in a crib. The exact time of death was part of the argument in the trial. Prosecutor Daniel Breyer in the sentencing attacked the Enquirer's article that told a different story of the circumstances surrounding Amy Baker. Breyer attacked defense attorney Gregory Cohen's defense. Cohen pointed the finger at Liz and her husband, David Carroll's live-in girlfriend, Amy Baker, and again said that Carroll was a victim to her husband, David Carroll and Baker. After the sentencing, Breyer said that he didn't blame Cohen for going with his defense. Breyer's argument also brought to light new information that Carroll had in the past, and on the night that Marcus reportedly died, sold Xanax to a neighbor. He also said that Amy Baker wasn't the first live-in girlfriend for the Carrolls. Apparently, 2 other people were invited to live with the Carrolls, including a 17-year-old girl who the Carrolls apparently said was a babysitter. Breyer said that he was armed with questions that he said would punch holes in the defense should Liz take the stand. In an emotional closing day, Clermont County Assistant Prosecutor Daniel Breyer made the statement that a person wouldn't treat a dog the way that the Carrolls treated the 3-year-old foster child. Carroll shot back at Breyer, "The dog was alive." The comment alluding to Carroll's claim that Marcus had already died before the family went to Kentucky for a family reunion, while Marcus Feasel was bound in a blanket in a crib. The exact time of death was part of the argument in the trial. Prosecutor Daniel Breyer in the sentencing attacked the Enquirer's article that told a different story of the circumstances surrounding Amy Baker. Breyer attacked defense attorney Gregory Cohen's defense. Cohen pointed the finger at Liz and her husband David Carroll's live-in girlfriend Amy Baker, and again said that Carroll was a victim to her husband David Carroll and Baker. After the sentencing, Breyer said that he didn't blame Cohen for going with his defense. Breyer's argument also brought to light new information that Carroll had in the past, and on the night that Marcus reportedly died, sold Xanax to a neighbor. He also said that Amy Baker wasn't the first live-in girlfriend for the Carrolls. Apparently 2 other people were invited to live with the Carrolls, including a 17-year-old girl who the Carrolls apparently said was a babysitter. Breyer said that he was armed with questions that he said would punch holes in the defense should Liz take the stand. This month marks 10 years since thousands of people showed up to Juliff's Park in Anderson Township to search for Marcus Feasel. On Sunday, many of those same searchers and volunteers came back to the park to remember the then 3-year-old. The story was it really touched my heart, and I was out here 10 years ago with my kids searching through the park, said Michelle Beckham Corbin. Well, I've thought about Marcus over the years, and when I heard this was going to happen, I just wanted to be here, Mike Connolly told Fox 19 Now. Time hasn't erased the memory of little Marcus. Dozens reunited to remember the boy that thousands searched for. Back in 2006, Feasel's foster parents Liz and David Carroll told police he went missing. Detectives later discovered that he had been bound and locked in a closet for days, causing his death. After that, search crews found his body burned on a property in Brown County. Holly Schlock is the event organizer. She's also the founder and executive director of the Invisible Kids Project. Our goal now is to bring all those folks back and to talk again about how we can all work together to build a voice for kids in the child welfare system, she said. She said Sunday was about remembering the power of community nearly 10 years ago. It also was a time to shed light on some issues surrounding the child welfare system. I think it's really important for us to take Marcus Feasel's story and the story of every child who has been hurt while under the care of the system. These kids are so invisible, the community around them. We don't see their faces until something goes wrong, Schlock said. The hope from Schlock is that elected officials will prioritize children in the system. Liz and David Carroll were convicted of murder and remain in jail.
If you enjoy the content and want more, click the subscribe button and don't forget to ring the notification bell to stay updated on our latest uploads. Your support means the world to us. We appreciate your time and hope you continue to enjoy our content. Thanks for watching and being a part of our community.